In the last few years, OnePlus has emerged as the go-to company for people who want a phone that's fast, reliable with no bloatware, and more affordable than the big-name flagships from Samsung and Apple. The latest OnePlus 6T keeps perfecting that formula. Faithful to the company's tradition of releasing a new phone every 6 months or so, the 6T is about incremental improvements in the form of a slightly larger screen, a less annoying notch, a few new camera tricks, and the biggest one, a new in-screen finger scanner. So, should you buy it? Hello guys, my name is Vic with PhoneArena and it's time for our OnePlus 6T review. Speaking of design and style, the 6T sticks to what we saw in the 6 model. Glass back, the familiar alert slider that you can use to easily mute your phone, and now a thinner chin and a tinier teardrop notch. What has not changed is that there is still no full waterproofing on the 6T. The 6T is splash-proof but not fully water protected like most flagships these days. There's also no wireless charging on board. Another thing that's now missing is the headphone jack. Instead, you have a lousy dongle in the box and the option to buy USB-C or wireless headphones separately. We're not even that mad about the headphone jack per se, as we are upset that OnePlus asked users just half a year ago whether they wanted the headphone jack to stay and got an overwhelming support for it. For a company praising its community, it's shocking to see it turn a blind eye to what its own users have voted for. But enough with that, let's look at the biggest new innovation in the OnePlus 6T, the new in-screen fingerprint scanner. And it is okay. Just okay. It's definitely not as fast as a traditional finger scanner, and it often took us 2 or 3 attempts to unlock the phone. The thing is that here you need to press firmer and longer than the slight tap that a traditional finger scanner requires. The scanner also lights up brightly to get a reading of your fingerprint when you try to unlock the phone, which is especially annoying when you're using your phone at night. The 6T also features a big 6.4-inch AMOLED screen, a bit larger than its predecessor. We're not worried that this is a Full HD screen and not a higher resolution Quad HD panel. It looks sharp enough to not notice any pixelization in daily use, and colors look great. We've however had issues with the auto brightness, and we've seen other users complain that the screen is just too dim and dark oftentimes. But the magic that draws people to OnePlus is certainly the Oxygen OS interface, a clean Android interface with no bloatware apps or distractions. Most importantly, Oxygen OS is fast. OnePlus has revealed that it has a separate team of engineers that work tirelessly to shave milliseconds of lag and stutter, and the result is indeed visible, as the OnePlus 6T runs as smoothly as a Google Pixel phone, or sometimes it even feels smoother. The 6T also supports gesture navigation. The gestures all start with a swipe up from the bottom of the screen. Swipe from the center to go to the home screen, swipe and pause to enter multitasking mode, and swipe from either edge to go back a step. There are quite a few useful added features as well. The gaming mode, for example, activates when you start playing a game and it prevents notifications from disrupting your gaming session, while important calls still go through. OnePlus has also maintained a reputation for delivering top hardware in a phone that costs a lot less than similarly equipped rivals. This tradition continues in the OnePlus 6T, which still features the Snapdragon 845 chip with up to 8GB of RAM. Also worth pointing out is that traditionally you don't get microSD card support on OnePlus phones, and the 6T is no exception. The built-in storage cannot be expanded, so what you buy is what you get. The big news about the OnePlus 6T, however, might not be about the specs, the design, or the in-screen fingerprint scanner at all. It might simply be about the fact that for the first time, a OnePlus phone is officially available in the United States. Yes, the 6T is now sold in T-Mobile stores. You can also get it unlocked and bring it to AT&T or Verizon Wireless, and it will work fine on those two carriers as well, with proper support for 4G LTE. Is the OnePlus a great camera phone though? You have a dual camera on the back, a 16-megapixel main shooter and a secondary 20-megapixel camera used to gather depth information for portrait mode, but not much more. Keep in mind, this is not a telephoto lens. The OnePlus 60 does a fine job during the day as it captures images with a good amount of detail, a wide dynamic range and lively colors. Portrait mode is also on board and subject separation from the background works fairly well during the day. You don't have the option to adjust the amount of background blur after you've taken the shot though, that many phones nowadays have. Selfies on the 16-megapixel front camera also turn out fine, but you lack a bit in terms of detail and dynamic range compared to the best phones out there. Where the OnePlus 60 falls short of the very best camera phones is in low light. Photos look decent, but also often they came out blurry and not as detailed. There's a new Nightscape mode on the OnePlus 60 which works best for cityscapes. Nightscape boils down to a long exposure shot that requires that you hold your phone steady for a couple of seconds so you get more light at night. The results really require a steady hand or tripod, and in our testing, Nightscape shots often turned out a bit blurry. The OnePlus 60 does support 4K video recording at 60 or 30 FPS, and we recommend you take a look at our detailed OnePlus 60 camera comparison to learn more about this. For music playback, you have one button-firing loudspeaker on the OnePlus 60 and the sound coming through it is impressive. It gets surprisingly loud and boomy and sounds very clear at that. When it comes to call quality, we've had no issues with the OnePlus 60. Voices sound loud and clear with a natural ring to them, and the mic also produces a clear and crisp sound for your callers on the other end of the line. The removal of the headphone jack has allowed OnePlus to cram in an even bigger battery in the 60. The phone now comes with a 3700 mAh cell that really lasts a very long time. In our experience with the phone, we could easily get through even the longest days, and with moderate use, we could stretch this all the way to a full 2 days off the charger. We have run our proprietary battery test on the OnePlus 60, and with a score of nearly 10 hours, it is one of the top battery performers of 2018. And then you have the company's fast charging solution. It only works with OnePlus's own charger and cables, but what you get is truly very fast charging speeds and reliability. Summing it all up, the OnePlus 60 is a huge step forward for OnePlus in the United States and definitely not a phone that you should miss. At its $550 starting price, the 60 is a steal when compared to more expensive flagships out there. And it is among the fastest and best performing phones on the market. Plus, it has excellent battery life. In fact, it feels much more reliable and future-proof than many higher-priced phones. Yet the 60 also falls short of the very best out there when it comes to the camera. And as cool as the new finger scanner looks, it is definitely not as fast or as accurate as a traditional one, or even as Face ID. At the end of the day, the OnePlus 60 is not the single best phone that you can buy in 2018, but it doesn't really need to be that. At its $550 price, it's still head and shoulders ahead of similarly priced rivals. And this concludes our review of the OnePlus 60. Thanks for watching, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this video, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.